What's up, everyone? I'm your host, Taliyah, and you're listening to The Live Lounge, a podcast that takes a weekly peek into the minds of 20-somethings who are living and learning how to make life work and helping each other along the way.
God bless these 20-somethings. God bless, oh God bless, oh God bless.
What's up, everybody? I want to thank you all for joining me this week on the Live Lounge podcast. I hope you all enjoyed last week's guest, Michael Supreme. He will be back very soon, so keep an eye out for him on our show. But let's get right into it. The quote of the week is coming from none other than Penny Hunt, and it reads, "Fear makes us look for someone to blame, throw up our hands in defeat, and give in to a victim mentality. Faith chooses to face the challenge with hope in a brighter tomorrow." I chose this quote this week because our topic is faith over fear. A lot of times we get caught up in one or the other without realizing that they both work in tandem. Fear cripples you while faith uplifts you. That's the quote of the week, guys. I hope you guys got a little bit from it. And now that we have gotten a little motivation going, let's get into the booming 20-something.
Okay, so boom.
This week's booming 20-something is none other than me, Taliyah Holloway. I am a playwright, and I have written 5 plays and had them all performed by professional actors at the Horizon Theater here in Atlanta, Georgia. I am the former marketing and viral media director of the rap group Urban Republic. My bros will be on the show soon, so look out for them. I am also the former A&R for Panther Entertainment Group on Georgia State campus. I am a YouTuber of theliyahshowxo. You'll be able to check out my videos on YouTube, and I'll put more information in the description box below of this podcast and on the website. I am a blogger and an author. The second edition of my first self-published book will be available on Amazon in October. I'll keep you posted. And I will have a music interpretation piece coming very soon. I will be starting a mentoring program for high school girls with my best friend Jasmine Elliott. She will also be on the show under the guidance of Usher's New Look Foundation, which is a leadership academy that I have been a part of since 2011. I will be launching a development company in November, and I am a proud podcaster of this show, The Live Lounge, and an upcoming show called Real Talk and BS with my bros, Professor X and Mike Supreme. If I must say so myself, I am a booming 20-something, and I am doing it up. That was just a little bit of what I do, but I do so much. I didn't want to overwhelm you guys with all of my accomplishments because I will be accomplishing so much more. And I will keep you guys updated on anything that you guys can be a part of. If you guys want me to do something as far as like meet and greets or informationals or anything like that, please be sure to drop it in the Cues from the Crew section on the website. So now we get to my favorite part of the show, couch conversations. I want you guys to get real comfortable, get real into your fuzzy pajamas, get into your slippers, your sweatpants, your t-shirts, get your snacks going, whatever makes you feel comfortable, because we are about to have couch conversations.
Just say you will come through and chill.
Hey guys, just want to give you a quick disclaimer about this particular episode of the Live Lounge podcast. I am a Christian, and I'm also a preacher's kid, which means that my spiritual father or my father is a pastor or bishop, and I am under him. So I am very grounded and very serious about my relationship with God and about Christianity and my religious beliefs and opinions. So this episode will be very much based in that. If that is not your thing or you are not a Christian, that's 100% okay. I will put the markers, the timestamps in the description below so that if you want to skip forward, you can, or if you want to skip the episode altogether, that's completely fine with me. But I also want to let you know that it is very possible that my guests may bring up their religious beliefs or what they believe to be true or what they believe to be right pertaining to their religion, and I will be doing so as well. So do not be alarmed or do not be upset. Just if you have anything you want to talk about or any questions, comments, or concerns, please drop them in the Q's from the Crew section. I would love to hear from you guys. Don't forget, if you want me to read it on air, let me know. If you want to keep it between you and me, and you want some response back to that, let me know as well. I'll be more than happy to reach back out to you, and let's get into the couch conversations. All right, guys, so this week's couch conversations topic is faith over fear. Let's talk about it. What is fear? Fear, by the dictionary, is an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain, or a threat. What is faith? Faith is complete trust or confidence in someone or something, or strong belief in God or in the doctrines of religion based on spiritual apprehensions rather than proof. Now, I will say that by Taliyah's definition of what fear is, it's pretty much in line with what the dictionary is. It is an unpleasant emotion, and it is caused by belief in something or someone that could harm you, cause you danger, or affect how you do something. I believe that the dictionary's definition of faith is pretty okay. Faith is complete trust or confidence. That's what I believe faith is. Faith for me is complete trust and confidence in God and who He has created me to be, in the innate abilities that He has blessed me with, and in the intuition that He has given me. So faith is that undoubted, unadulterated, unabashed confidence that whatever it is that you are doing or going for will come to pass. I know that personally I have battled so much with both faith and fear because of life experiences, because of life's trauma, because of all types of things. And I know that there have been moments where I had complete faith and trust that nothing was gonna happen bad to me because of who I believe to serve and who my God is. Like that was who I was. And I think that was me around high school and middle school. And I say that I want to pinpoint that time because that was a time in my life where I didn't have any worries, no real responsibilities. I didn't really have anything to challenge that. Like everything was taken care of for me. After high school came college years and those experimental years, and we'll have a whole segment about college and about college life and things of that nature. And that was where my faith was tried and my fear set in. So I got in really bad relationships, or relationships that were definitely not good for me, or relationships or situationships, we'll talk about that too, where I was put in predicaments that were they weren't spiritually healthy, they weren't physically healthy, they weren't emotionally healthy. I was just on a downward spiral of, oh my gosh, Taliyah, what are you doing? And it was because of depression, and it was because of trauma from bad relationships and bad influences and things of that nature. So I was really put in a position where my faith had gone all the way down to a negative 27, and fear was at a positive 1,000,000. I was fearful of everything, fearful of love, fearful of trust, fearful of relationships, fearful of failure, fear set in so heavily in my life, y'all. It was I could feel fear sitting next to me. That's how bad it had gotten with me. And around that time is where I started to have really bad anxiety issues. I would have panic attacks and anxiety attacks all the time, and I would be crying and hyperventilating, and I would have to call my mom. My mom would have to calm me down, pray with me, try to get me to settle down. And it was different than when I was at home, because when I was at home, I could go sit by my mom and gain strength by being around her. But with me being at college in my dorm away from home, it wasn't possible to have that kind of closeness and connection. So what I started to do was shut myself off from people. Like, I started to close myself out. I didn't go out. I didn't talk to people as much. Or if I did, it was in a very destructive or very like controlled way, like drinking and partying like crazy and being around all of these people that I knew were no good for me, but they were a distraction from what I was feeling. So I definitely did it, and it caused me to separate so much from God, and separate from church, and separate from things that were like true to who I was, and it made the depression worse, to be honest. And I had to sit down with my spiritual father, who is my bishop, Jeffrey McQuarrie. I had to sit down with him and my mom, and they literally just ironed it all out for me. They was like, Taliyah, you are going to destroy your life if you keep going down this path. Like, I've seen where this could take you, and I've seen how this could destroy you, and we will not allow you to destroy yourself. That conversation around my, I want to say sophomore year in college, I believe so. That conversation around my sophomore year in college literally changed the trajectory of my life. It is so powerful, y'all. Like, I don't know if I can stress this enough. It is so powerful to have people in your life that will check you when you are wrong and correct your errors and steer you in the right direction in love. Like, they didn't come to me in front of everybody. They didn't put me on blast in front of family, friends, church members. No, it was literally my parents. Like, these are the people that I call my mom and I call him Pops. My mom and my Pops. Like, they are the people who have guided me and reared me so heavily in my life. So I trusted what they were telling me. So when they sat me down and told me that this is not for you, this is not what you will do, you will stop this right now, I knew that I had to follow. Like, my spirit, like my intuition, that a gut thing in me said, Taliyah, they're right. Listen to them. Hear them out. I didn't have anything in me that said rebel, go against it, because I knew I was destroying myself. I could feel the destruction happening. Like I told y'all, fear was like sitting next to me. Like, I could hold his hand, basically. Like, that's how close I was to that darkness, to that side. So they sat down with me and told me that I wasn't gonna self-destruct. They wouldn't let me self-destruct. So what they did following that was, like, I still say one of the best things I could have done. They isolated me in a way that made me mature. They made me start paying my own bills. They made me accountable for my actions. Like, I already had a job, but they made it so that I had to figure out how to make things right in my life. Like, they would, if I needed a way to work, they would be my last resort. I needed to find another way. If I needed to pay my phone bill, because they took my phone and made me buy a whole new phone and a whole new service. I was completely independent in that. They did, okay, not once did they let me, like, hang out here to dry and, like, kill myself or anything like that, but they put me in a position where I had to now be accountable for my actions. So that helped me regain faith in God, because I had to really pray, like really talk to him and really get myself back in the place where I was trusting him wholeheartedly, because I had gotten to this place with fear where I was like, God ain't listening, God ain't hear me, he ain't paying me no attention, honestly, because I'm out here doing all the stuff he told me not to do, so he can't be paying me no attention. I started to treat God like a man, like a physical person. Physical people will leave you when you do what they don't tell you to do. Physical people will forget about you when you doing stuff that they advised you not to do. They stop loving you at some point. And I thought the same thing of God, because I was like, ain't no way in the world I can go and pray and I just blah 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 blah. Like, there's no way. And not realizing, this is my belief, and this is true to what I've seen in my life, not realizing that God is forgiving and God is loving, and if you come to him and repent and honestly try to get your life together through him, then you can make it. Like, on the serious of the spiritual tips, was the devil was like seriously in my ear trying to take my life and trying to make me believe that I was not worthy of forgiveness, or I was not worthy of starting over and repenting and anything like that. So I I had to break that cycle by becoming really grounded in who I was. And y'all, it was the hardest time of my life. Like, I was struggling. I was losing, like, my weight was going up and down. I was stressed out. Like, I started to do bad in school. Like, it was such a difficult time for me, but it groomed me so well into the person that I am today. If I didn't have that low point, I would not be where I am. And that's where the balance of fear and faith started to change. Like, fear, yes, I was still dealing with anxiety, and I was still dealing with depression and things like that, but it was being challenged by faith, and by knowing that I was going to come out of this, and knowing that I was going to push through, and knowing that there was something for me on the other side, because my parents would not have let me spiritually fail if nothing was, if that was what it's going to be. They saw something both spiritually and in the natural that said she can't quit. There's more for her to do. So that was my saving grace, knowing that there was still work for me to do. If I would have felt at any point that there wasn't, that was the end of it, like I didn't have any impact, or I couldn't make any change or anything like that, I would have stopped, and I would have just kept going with what it was that I was going to do anyway, which was kill myself, obviously, because of all the things that I was involved with that were not healthy to who I was. So that's what saved me. That's what kept me pushing and kept me moving forward, was knowing that there was something else. There was another path that I needed to take. So I stopped going out as much. I didn't drink. I'm not a smoker, so I definitely didn't smoke. I started to like cut off bad influences or bad people in my life, and I was trying to focus and trying to really get back to where I needed to be, and it definitely helped. So at one point, where fear was at 1,000,000, fear was not at 50. And where faith was in the negative numbers, my faith was at 65. Like, it was starting to even out. And then after that year and a half of really just trying to do rehabilitation, both spiritually and in natural, I got to kind of like a groove where I was like, okay, I can do this. I can move forward. And faith got stronger. My faith in God and faith in what I could see Him do in my life got stronger. I started to see favor work in my life, and favor is not fair. I don't know if you guys ever heard that, but favor is not fair, but favor is the currency of the kingdom. I post that on my Insta story every now and then because I do morning motivations throughout the week. If you guys want to follow me on social media, you definitely can. My Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, everything is at theliyahshowxo, so you guys can check out my morning motivations. But I post faith over fear. I also posted favor is the currency of the kingdom, because that's what it is. And I started to see favor come up in my life in a time where I didn't know how I was going to pay school tuition. Favor came in and made it so that I had scholarships and grants and things like that. Now, faith isn't absent of work, so I had to put in the work. So scholarships didn't just fall out of the sky. I mean, a couple of them did, and I still don't know how I got them, but I'm thankful for them. But I had to put in work with applying myself and putting in essays and things of that nature. And it started to turn around. My life started to turn around for me to the point where I'm where I am now. I started a prayer group with my friends, and we pray Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. If any of you would like to join that, put it in the queues for the crew section, and I would definitely get you the contact information so that you could be online with us in the mornings. And I started to see a change in my friends, like the friends that I had before that was egging on the destructive qualities that I was bringing out, or that were helping me destroy myself, started to not talk to me. Not because of something I said or something I did, but we just didn't have much in common anymore. And then I started to gain friends like Jasmine, Elliott, and Camera, who I will have on my show at some point. You guys will hear from them. And they have been single-handedly the most important friends I've ever had in my entire life. because they motivate me business wise. They motivate me personally. They motivate me spiritually. Like, we are always praying with each other. We're always talking about how to be better and how we can do better. Yeah, we have moments where we're normal 20 somethings and it's okay, but we also are very responsible and very, very focused and very driven, and they helped bring that faith up in me. It was Camera, I believe, who suggested that I go see a therapist because of my anxiety and depression and things like that. And I've always thought, and maybe because in the Black community you don't go to therapy. Therapy was for really mentally unstable people, or people who had really traumatic things happen to them, or I just didn't think that I was a candidate for therapy. And I also thought therapy was like stupid expensive, which it is. But I found out that through college, like, I can get therapy for free, and talk to someone and get some help. So I took the first step and I started to go to therapy, and I realized that, yeah, Taliyah, you do have some things you need to work on, like some serious traumatic things that you need to talk through and you need to get help with. And I started to go to therapy, and I started to get help, and I started to find different ways to calm my mind, because y'all, it had got to the point where I was like having panic attacks in the middle of stores and not being able to think and getting dizzy in the middle of public places. So I knew that I needed to get assistance. So I did. I went to get there. I started getting therapy with through my school, and it really changed everything. Like, therapy accompanied with good friends, accompanied with faith and prayer and really spending time with God, like, has changed my life. I would not be where I am today, talking to you guys, starting this podcast, writing books, starting mentoring programs, being a leader in the community. I wouldn't be none of that without that conversation from my parents, without friends that are here to make sure that I don't fall by the wayside, without other guidances in my life to help me get on the right path. I wouldn't be here without any of that. So I'm so forever thankful to God first for putting those things in my life, but also to those people for not giving up on me. Because a lot of things, I'll be honest with y'all, I'm an actress to my core. So I was really good at hiding everything. But here's the problem with hiding stuff. When you hide stuff, you sweep it under the rug. And after a while, that rug is not laying flat on the ground anymore because you have swept so much stuff under it. And then before you know it, the rug is barely covering the very top of the things that you have swept under the rug. And now you have this big mountain in front of your face and you're still sweeping stuff. That's where I was. I was under that mountain. That mountain was sitting on my chest while I was still trying to sweep stuff under the rug. So I have been definitely on a self-love journey and a journey to get back to that 16-year-old Taliyah who had uncanny, undoubtable, unwavering faith and trust in both God and in the things that He's given to me. I'm trying to get back to that person, and it's not easy because life happens, and when you play with the spirit don't play with you. And I mean both the good and the bad of that. So there are things that I have to get rid of. Like, I had to get rid of toxic things, and I have to be mindful not to pick up those toxic things as well, because everything that glitters ain't gold. It might just literally be glitter. And here's the thing about glitter. When you think it's gone, it's not really gone. Yeah, I ever did a glitter project, or a project where you had to put glitter on something and you thought you got rid of all of the glitter, and then a week later you got a glitter speck by your face and you ain't worn nothing that was sparkly. Same thing. There are people and there are instances and situations that will pop up, and you will know this is not where I need to be. This is not who I need to entangle myself with. And you have to make a decision from that point. What am I going to do? Am I going to play with this thing, or am I going to activate faith that I don't need this thing and I could do better. I definitely was one of those people who love to be a part of the scene. Like, I love to be around people. I love to go to events. I used to love going out and things like that because I like the energy. But at a certain point, when I started to like do my rehabilitation process and really start to get back on my journey, those things didn't feel good to me anymore. They felt taxing, they felt draining, and they felt like a part of an old life that I needed to get rid of. So whenever I would indulge in those things, I would feel so bad, y'all. Like, I would feel so bad. Like, I would be sitting in the middle of a club like, Taliyah, what are you doing here? What are you doing? This is not you. You don't need this. You don't need this. This is not where you need to be. Now, I'm not saying that you have to cut cold turkey, because I will admit that's hard. Cutting cold turkey is not for everybody. And I'm also not saying that you don't need to indulge. Like, I still go out with my friends, but I don't go to clubs anymore. I go to lounges, or like I go to dinners, or I go to lunches and brunches and things like that. Because first of all, I be too tired. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. I be too tired to be out there late and then gotta dress up, and then I'm tired just thinking about it. So I had to change. I didn't want to go to clubs no more. I said I go to lounges and brunches with my friends, and that's okay with me. There may come a point in time where I don't want to go to lounges no more. There may come a point in time where I only want to do activities in the daytime, which is not a problem, because I like doing activities in the daytime because I be needing sleep. When you start changing yourself on the inside, it starts to reflect on the outside. You become more confident, you become more courageous, you start to put yourself out there more. And I'm thankful, because I got to a place where fear didn't hinder me anymore. Fear is not a thought in my mind anymore. Faith has definitely conquered fear, and I'm working hard to make my faith stronger, because there are gonna come challenges, especially as I get older, get to my 30s and 40s and 50s. There are gonna come challenges and things put in place that are gonna challenge my faith, and they're gonna challenge me with fear, with things that cripple me, with things that are vices in my life. So I would challenge you all to know your vices, know what things trip you up, and know when you are strong enough to handle them. And also, more importantly, know when you need help, because nobody can do this on their own. It's just not possible. You cannot do everything on your own. So know when you need to seek help. Like, my friends are my accountability partners. They keep me online. Hey, Taliyah, you said you was gonna do this and you haven't done it. What is stopping you from getting it done? How can we help? Know when you need help, guys. So I will say that now in my life, my fear level is at a 3, and my faith level is at a 30. And I'm working hard to make that fear level non-existent, because fear cripples you. Fear holds you in a bear hug when you desperately want to let go. Fear takes over your mind. Fear takes over your body. Fear takes over your spirit. Fear will lay next to you when you want to be left alone. But let me tell you something about faith. Faith is the key. Faith is the key. Fear is a dark room and faith is a light. You know what cancels out darkness? Light. If you go in somewhere dark and you light a match, that one match brightens up the entire room. The entire room. So I encourage you guys to find your match in that dark room. Find those things in your life that help you light those matches. Find those people. If you feel like you have gotten too far away from those things, find your way back. If you need an accountability partner, put it in the Q's for the crew section and I will be your accountability partner. If you don't want to put it in the Q's from the crew section, that's perfectly fine. You can DM me on my social media. My social media is theliyahshowxo. You can also DM the live lounge and I will be your accountability partner. I just want you guys to know, as 20 somethings, we have to stick together. This world that we live in is completely different from any other world that has ever existed. We are experiencing things that our generations before us had no idea were even possible, and we are setting the ground for the generations after us so that they can see that something is possible. Don't let fear take over your life. Don't let fear take over your mind. Don't let fear take over your spirit. Let your faith come out. Put your faith to work and know that faith is absent of work. Faith without works is dead. So think about what you can do to apply faith in your life. It is going to be a challenge, but I promise you it's so worth it. I promise you, as sure as my name is Taliyah, as my mama would say, it is so worth it to put in the work, because when you put in the work, you cultivate the tools to continue the process. It'll be easy for somebody to give you a guideline on how to do something, but it's completely different when you have to start from scratch and create your own instructions. And that's what life is like. Life is like creating your own instructions. Yes, there are guides and there are books and there are handouts that could assist you, but your life is your life, and it is a total summation of all of your experiences and all of their results. So no one has walked in the exact same shoes that you have. Remember that. So find those moments where your fear is high and make your faith even higher. All right, guys. So now I have questions for you guys. Tell me, where are the moments where you have the most faith? Where are those moments where you see yourself conquering every challenge that is set before you? And how can we make that a permanent thing? What can we do every day to start applying faith more in our lives, both spiritually and in the natural? What can we do? I'll share a little bit of mine. If you guys read the blog that I posted before this episode aired, I share a little bit of my tips for faith and what I do when I need to restore my faith. And I want you guys to let me know in the Cues from the Crew section your tips for restoring your faith. Now we have transitioned to the very last segment of the show, and it is called You Already Know. Who raised y'all? Because I really be needing to know. Who is your mama? Who's your daddy? Who your auntie? Who are your influences? Because we need to have a talk on the couch. Okay?
Who raised y'all?
And this week's Who's Raised Y'all goes to those individuals who are calling the police on innocent people. Who do you think you are? Who gave you the jurisdiction to call the police on anybody that is innocent, who is doing nothing wrong? To that person who called the police on that young person that was selling lemonade because they did not have a permit, who do you think you are? Who gave you the right? Who gave you the audacity to call the police on someone who is trying to help you? You were thirsty. Why didn't you just buy something? If you didn't like what they were doing, you could have left. To that woman who called the police on those black people in the park having a barbecue, who gave you the audacity? Who told you that you had the right to disturb someone else's peace because you wanted to be selfish? That's all it is. You out here being selfish. You're not thinking about other people. These are families that you are attempting to rip apart. These are lives that you are trying to destroy. These are businesses that you are stifling because of your selfishness. You're being racist. You're being a bigot. You are being a pollutant. You are being irresponsible. You are being careless. And you are most of all being trifling. Flat out trifling. And I hope that you learn from the errors in your ways, and I pray that God has mercy on your soul. because the things that you are doing, the things that you are setting in place for future generations is the reason why slavery existed. It is the reason why slavery still exists with human trafficking. It is the reason why jails are created. You are the reason why they start building new jails by the third grade for people, because of tests that are put into place, not to benefit anybody but your system. You are the reason why the system is continuing to destroy Black and colored lives today. I pray God has his mercy on your soul, and I pray that you learn from your mistakes, because you are horrible. That's all I got. I needed that, and I hope you guys were able to vent as well in your grievances. If you feel like you have couch conversations that you want to add or want to hear on the show, if you feel like you have a who raised y'all that you need to get off your chest, if you feel like you have a cray word of the day that you want our guests to read, or if you just want to talk, you want to chit chat, you want to let me know something, put it in the Cues from the Crew section on thelivelounge.com. And I love you guys, and I hope you guys have a great remainder of the week. We are 20-somethings that need to stick together, so I just want to leave you with good luck on those 20-somethings.